Welcome to the Artwork of You, the podcast where your life is the canvas and you are the masterpiece. I'm your host, Lori Guin, and together we'll explore creativity, self-awareness, mindset, goal strategy, and the importance of accountability so that you can paint your life's portrait with confidence and ease. Remember, in the gallery of life, you're not just a spectator, you are the art. So let's grab our brushes and start creating the masterpiece that is you. Hello, my friends. I am so glad that you are here with me today because today I want to talk about the word no. I've been coaching my clients as well as myself a lot recently around the word no, because there's something really not only powerful about learning to say no, but also essential to achieving your goals, both personally and professionally. I know it sounds so simple, but the impact it can have on your life is really life-changing. I know that might sound dramatic, but really, in my opinion, it's true. There are countless reasons why many of us struggle to say no, but I think it often boils down to these reasons. We struggle with saying no because we don't want to disappoint others or feel guilty, or we struggle with saying no because of FOMO, fear of missing out. And this applies to both life and business. And so let's start by digging into why saying no is so difficult for many of us. On the surface, it might seem like a simple two-letter word, right? But the emotions and the thoughts tied up in saying no can be surprisingly complex. First, there's the issue of social conditioning. From a young age, many of us are taught that being agreeable and helpful and accommodating are virtues. We're often praised for being the good girl or the good boy when we do what's asked of us without protest. And over time, this can create a deep-seated belief in us that saying yes is always the right thing to do, even when it comes at a personal cost. Brene Brown, I don't know if you're familiar with her, she's a brilliant author, but she's done a lot of research on vulnerability and courage. And she talks a lot about how the fear of disappointing others or being perceived as selfish often is what drives us to say yes when we really want to say no. Because in essence, we want to avoid conflict, maintain peace, and honestly, just really be liked. And then there's the fear of missing out, right? FOMO, as it's commonly known. And this fear plays a big role in why we hesitate to say no as well, because we worry that by turning something down, we might miss out on all the things. And this fear can be particularly strong in our professional lives because the pressure to go for every opportunity often can be intense because we're often taught that saying yes is a sign of ambition and commitment and a strong work ethic. And in many business or entrepreneurial environments, saying no can be seen as a weakness or a lack of dedication or a limiting move where you're not really serious. And so, whether it's due to social conditioning, the fear of missing out, or professional pressures, the resistance can really run deep. But here's the thing. While these reasons might explain why we struggle to say no, they also highlight, in my opinion, just how important it is to learn how to say it. Because when we don't, the consequences can really be significant. And that's what I want to talk about next. So let's talk about the flip side, the consequences of always saying yes. And while it might feel easier or more comfortable to agree on everything that comes your way, the truth is the habit can really have some serious drawbacks, both personally and professionally. And one of the most immediate consequences of always saying yes is personal burnout. Because when we continuously take on more than we can either mentally or physically handle, it's only a matter of time before the stress starts to catch up with us and we begin to feel overwhelmed, exhausted, like we're stretched too thin. And keep in mind, burnout isn't just about feeling tired. It's really a state of emotional, physical, and mental exhaustion that's caused by prolonged stress. Another major consequence of saying yes too often is the loss of focus, because every time we agree to take on a new task or go after a new opportunity, we're really diluting our attention and our energy. And while this might seem manageable at first, over time, it can prevent us from making meaningful progress on our most important goals. Because by saying yes to too many things, we end up saying no to the things that are most important to us, our core values, our passions, and our long-term vision. When our attention is scattered across too many areas, we lose the ability to dive deep into the work that really matters. We become so busy, but not necessarily productive. And in addition to this, there's also the risk of compromising our values. Because when we say yes to things that don't align with our core beliefs or our priorities, we start to drift away from what's really important to us. And this can lead to feelings of being unsatisfied, frustrated, and even build resentment over time. Because saying yes to the things that aren't in line with our values may seem harmless in the moment, but over time, it can really eat away at our sense of self and our overall happiness. And so, while saying yes might seem like the easier choice in the short term, remember, it can have significant long-term consequences. And so now let's talk about the power of embracing no. Because if saying yes all the time can lead to burnout, loss of focus, and compromising your core values, then learning to say no can do the exact opposite, right? It can open up space in your life for what truly matters. It can lead to greater sense of freedom, fulfillment, and success. And so one of the most immediate benefits of saying no is that it allows you to reclaim your time and your energy. When you start saying no to the things that don't align with your priorities or goals, you suddenly find yourself with more space and more time in your day and more mental energy and more emotional bandwidth. I literally just pointed this out to a client the other day. I said to her, just think about all the mental and physical time you just added back into your day by eliminating all of these distractions that are not moving the needle forward in your business. And this is where you'll start to see the real value of setting boundaries. Your schedule is not just a reflection of your commitments, but also of your priorities. And by saying no to things that don't serve you, you can protect your time for what truly matters, whether that's working on a big project or spending quality time with your loved ones or really simply just taking care of yourself. Saying no will also enhance your focus on your most important goals, because when you're no longer pulled in a dozen different directions, you can really dedicate your full attention to the things that matter most. And again, this is where you will see real progress, because you are able to define what those core things are that you should be working on and really double down on them. Saying no will also have a powerful impact on your relationships. It's not just about work-related stuff. And it might seem counterintuitive at first. After all, you're probably thinking, oh, won't people be upset with me if I start saying no more often? But in reality, setting boundaries can actually lead to stronger and healthier relationships. Because when we set clear, respectful boundaries, we teach others how we want to be treated. And we create relationships that are based on mutual respect and understanding rather than on resentment and guilt. In essence, saying no is about taking control of your life. It's about being intentional with your time, your energy, and your focus, and making choices that align with your values and your goals. And so understand that saying no isn't about rejection. It's about choosing yourself. You want to always remember that your well-being, your goals, and your values are worth protecting, and that saying no is a powerful tool in allowing you to do that. So, all that being said, how do we get better at saying no without feeling guilty or anxious? Well, one of the biggest challenges in saying no is finding the right words to do it. We often worry about how our no will be perceived. So we might hesitate, we might give a vague excuse, or even say yes when we really want to say no. But here's the thing. Being clear and direct is not only more respectful of the other person, but it also leaves less room for misinterpretation. You don't have to over-explain or justify your decision. It can be as simple, I appreciate the offer, but I'm going to have to pass. That's often enough. Or if you feel the need to provide a reason, just keep it brief and honest, like I'm focusing on some other priority right now, or something like I don't have the bandwidth to take this on right now. Because if you're firm but kind, it'll show that you respect both your own boundaries and the other person's time. As an aside, I actually had this friend. She had absolutely no problem saying no. Be like, hey, Carrie, do you want to go for a walk? No. Hey, Carrie, do you want to take the girls to the pool with me? No. Hey, Carrie, do you guys want to come over for dinner? No. If I would ask her why, she would offer no further explanation ever. And at first I used to be kind of put off by it, but honestly, after a while, I began to respect her for it. And it really helped me to realize that it's okay to say no. And as they say, right, no is a complete sentence. You don't always need to add explanation. And so you can also practice self-awareness before making decisions. And what I mean is before you say yes or no to anything, take a moment to check in with yourself and ask yourself, Does this align with my goals? Do I have the time and energy to commit to this? Will this bring me closer to where I want to be? And if the answer to any of these questions is no, then it's probably best to decline. Because when you develop self-awareness, that means you get clear on what your priorities are and you recognize when something doesn't fit in with them, making it easier to say yes or no. And again, when you're clear about what's important to you, it really does become so much easier to say no to the things that don't serve you. And this kind of internal clarity will help you make decisions that are aligned with your long-term vision rather than just getting caught up in the moment. You might want to try this exercise to help clarify. What you can do is you can write down your top 5 goals and then prioritize them as to what's most important and what will make the most significant impact on your life right now. You can create both a personal and a business list if you like. And the key is to focus exclusively on just those 1 or 2 top goals while saying no to the other 3 or 4 on the list, no matter how appealing they might sound, because this kind of disciplined focus is what will allow you to achieve significant and meaningful progress. You might also ask yourself something like, where do I want to be 1 year from now? And will doing this help me to get there? Or will it keep me the same? Or will it possibly slow me down? And so remember, it's not about doing more. It's about doing more of what really matters. And also keep in mind that no means not now. It doesn't mean not ever. So it doesn't mean you won't go back to those other goals that are important to you. It just means that you want to narrow your focus on the top 1 or 2 that are most important and will make the most impact right now in your life. Another effective strategy is to start small and build confidence over time. Because if saying no feels overwhelming, then just begin by practicing in a low stakes situation. Maybe you start by saying no to a small favor that's not really necessary, or maybe by declining a social event that you don't genuinely really want to attend. Because by gradually practicing saying no, you can develop the confidence to do it more often in a more impactful areas over time. It's a skill. Just like any other skill, it'll get easier with practice. It's normal to feel uncomfortable at first, especially if you're used to being a people pleaser or if you fear disappointing others. But I promise you, the more you practice, the more natural it will feel. And over time, you'll start to see the benefits. You'll have more time for what matters, less stress, and stronger and more authentic relationships. And so as you move forward, I encourage you to start thinking about where in your life you might need to say no more often, whether it's in your personal life, your career, or even with yourself. Start recognizing those moments where saying no could create more space for what truly matters to you. I have a challenge for you. Over the next week, I want you to identify just one area in your life where you need to start saying no. It can be saying no to a limiting thought, a limiting belief, or to an action. I'd love to hear all about it, what you found difficult, what surprised you, and how it made you feel. And as always, if you need support or guidance, feel free to reach out. Let's have a conversation about how I can support you. And if you're looking for more resources on becoming more self-aware so that you can achieve your goals, be sure to check out my 90-day self-discovery journal at www.theartworkofyou.com. Remember, saying no isn't about being selfish. It's about being intentional. It's about choosing to live a life that aligns with your values and supports your goals. So go out there and show up like the masterpiece you are. That's a wrap for today, my friends. Thank you for sharing your time with me. And remember to show up in your life like the masterpiece you are, because you are the artwork. Please subscribe and leave a 5-star review. Have a fabulous day.